All right. Hey, this is Mike here at recoup.com and doing a little FaceTime live here. I said it wrong already. Facebook Live. Anyway, welcome to reachkeep.com. All of our friends at Reaching Young Families and some of our other places out there. We're just so thrilled to have you along. And I am coming to you here from our kind of a little corner of our studio here in Wyoming. A little snowy out there today. Actually been quite snowy this quite some time. I want to talk about how pastors can regain or recoup an extra 4 hours every week to take some of the things on that we have been teaching. We do a lot of teaching, a lot of webinars. Been a very exciting fall and winter for us. So we got a new webinar series coming out here soon. But lately, through our digital assessment and through some of our coaching calls, where we talk with pastors around the country, we find that a lot of times all these ideas are hard to work in if you're already up to your neck in things with the church. In other words, you're so busy. In fact, just a couple of days ago, we were doing some coaching, and we do a lot of online coaching, like Skype stuff, as well as just phone things, and finished up some help with a guy in Kansas on how to kind of revamp Sunday schools. And actually, I really need to kind of talk with you about that sometime. Working with a guy in Tennessee who's kind of doing a revamp of his whole youth thing, and we're coaching him through that. And let's see, Maryland, just was talking to a guy about Maryland, about outreach and how to kind of coordinate all your outreach together. But just 2 days ago, we were on the phone, Tanim and I, on a big conference call doing what we call digital assessment. And a digital assessment is where we come in and look at your website and look at your Facebook page and your email strategy and all of those things, and help you kind of work your way through and kind of navigate and kind of, show you some of the things that are wrong with it and how to fix it and, kind of some of that. So we were talking to the fella, and he had pastor had his wife with him on the speakerphone there too, and he started laughing. We were kind of wondering what was going on, and he says, "My wife is giving me the symbol here of like I'm drowning. In other words, we were giving them so much stuff. It was like, whoa, and that can happen. And if you are any kind of a pastor who's wanting to reach out to your community, there's 1,001 ideas out there, but you only have so much time during the week. So how do you make all that kind of stuff happen? And that's what I want to talk to you about, how to figure some of that out. So I want to give just a quick shout out, a couple greetings here. Thanks for folks that have joined online. Let's see, I got to get Justin here. I can't read them all. Justin Gallup, good to see you. Mike Courtney, good to have you on. We've got some folks that regularly come on from overseas. We appreciate that very much. You can share this. This is on Facebook Live. Say it the right way. Facebook Live. You can hit the share button on this. You should have a share button there, and that goes out. And if you are trying to help other pastors too in the area, just encourage each other. One of the best things you can do is kind of say, hey, here's someone that I listen to and it's helpful. So please do that. We really appreciate you doing that. Our regular website, this is all on Facebook, but our regular website is at reachkeep.com. And if you're interested in that digital assessment stuff, there's some things you can read. Just type in reachkeep.com, and you can just do that, on your phone or whatever. Punch that in. And right at the top, there'll be a little banner thing there that you can punch, and it'll give you some more information about the digital assessment. We're doing kind of a special in February here, kind of a price break to help. I mean, it does cost for us to do all this stuff. So we'll give you a deal on that. I'll tell you about that in just a moment. So a couple other folks join in here. George, good to see you. Again, Justin, good to have you here. Thanks for taking time to be with us here. Let's talk about how you as a pastor or as a church leader, if you're in leadership and trying to do this and you're very busy and you're tied up, how you can save or recoup, I guess, some time. And that is what we were talking to. As I mentioned just a day or two ago, it was Thursday morning, we were talking to this pastor, and we went through his whole website, every page, looked at all the things, clicked a lot of his links. They didn't work. We showed him how to fix those. A lot of different things like that that we help with. Went to his Facebook page, went through his email strategy. And I think when we were kind of about 3/4 of the way through the email strategy and how you connect with your people on email and all that. It was when his wife was kind of like, I'm drowning, that type of thing. And that is true. Boy, we come up with a lot of ideas, when you read books and go to podcasts, go to conferences, all those things, you're going to study a lot of that. You are going to need a way to do all that stuff. And let me give you just a couple suggestions here, what we have done and that has been helpful for me. First of all, you may do, and it kind of depends on how your service structure works, but if you do Sunday night services, this is a real prime area where you can save some money. Let me tell you what we're doing in March, okay, coming up. We are showing during every Sunday night in March, and we're actually doing it every Sunday night and every Wednesday night. We're showing a video called The Indestructible Book. It's kind of an old sort of I don't even know who put it together, but it's just a real good history of how the English Bible came to be. And, it's just all the people who gave their lives for it. Just absolutely fascinating. Good historical stuff, and it's a 4-video set. We are showing those 4 videos on the 4 Sunday nights, the first 4 Sunday nights of March, and the first 4 Wednesday nights during March at one of our major kind of Bible studies that we have a midweek. We do a variety of midweek things, but and I'll talk about that in just a second. But we're showing that, and what that allows is it allows me. I do not have to have for those Sunday nights. I do not have to have a lot of preparation time for a sermon. Now you go, well, I need to give fresh stuff to my people all the time. It's like, no, you don't really. You just need to give good stuff to your people. And there are other people who have prepared things that are very good. And again, these videos are just really something strong that we're showing, just called The Indestructible Book. But you could do something on creation and, show something from, one of those Answers in Genesis or creation research firms and show some things. Maybe talk a little bit at the front, talk a little bit at the end, kind of wrap up your service the way that you need to. But what that does is that frees up your time. Now, most pastors spend, several hours in preparation for those things. And what you are going to do then is take those hours and squirrel them away, because you're going to use them for something else we'll talk about here in just a moment. The other idea that works really well, and this applies in a midweek setting or applies on a Sunday night setting, you can do this a couple of different ways. But as pastors, one of the things that we do often is we do a lot of teaching, where we are teaching people and we're giving them new stuff from the Bible and it's things that we've researched. There's another level, though, that is very biblical, and it's called training. Training is where you're actually kind of doing a little bit more hands-on with somebody, and usually the things that you're doing the training with are not as information intensive as they are just kind of hands-on and application intensive. And so you can do some training time that takes away some of the preparation time, and it really is another great way to recoup another couple of hours a week that would normally go into study time. Let me give you the example of how we're doing it for the next 3 weeks. Actually, we do what we call a Pastor's ABC Bible study, and this is for new people. We do it in a midweek setting. It's on a Tuesday night, and it's at my house. And it's a Bible study, but this sounds terrible, but we don't do a lot of Bible study because what we do is I have these 3 weeks, and the very first time when people come, and these are for brand new people that have only been to our church for a few weeks, and we're trying to get them acquainted, and they come out to our house, and we set them on the couch and give them a cup of hot tea and some of that. And then my wife and I, we tell our testimonies of how we got saved. And that really chews up, and it's like a long form testimony. I mean, it's how we met and got saved and kind of started into our Christian walk type of thing. But those between my wife and I, when we do that, that takes over an hour. It chews up the whole thing. And let me say something that is so beneficial for your people to know how you came to know the Lord. And what your heartbeat is and what makes you tick, that kind of stuff. So it's an excellent time. We get excellent reviews from it. People love it, and it takes like zero preparation time because it's my story. It's my testimony, my wife's story and her testimony. So she knows what she's saying. I know what I'm saying. We don't have to have a lot of preparation. that saves me some time that I can then use in the process, what we call development process time. We'll talk about that in a second. So we do that the first week. We do that. The second week, what we do is I tell them the whole story of how our church got started. We're a church plant, and we go through all that, and they're very interested. There's always a lot of question answer type of stuff in there. And I always make sure, we open in prayer, and I read a few Bible verses and share my theme Bible verse, of starting the ministry and my salvation. So, there is Bible to it. But again, there is not a lot of preparation that has to happen, and that will gain you some time. And let me say something, your people will be thrilled to do that or hear that story. If they've never heard some of those things before in detail where they can kind of ask questions and talk about it, it's just such a neat story about how your church started and how you got into the ministry. So you can kind of tweak that a little bit. The third week that we do, okay, and again, no preparation hardly for this, is I tell them how to be successful at our church. And we spend some time, and I give them some Bible study things. But first of all, we talk about how to be successful in your own private devotions. And we spend a great deal of time teaching people how to have devotions and the value of having private devotions. Then we talk to them about how to get involved in some of our Bible study groups and what we would call our ministry groups here at our church, the way we work, like a kids program or our food ministry, or, helping out with the cleaning, or, greeting, or, something along that line. And we teach them kind of the process of getting involved with that. And then the last portion of that, we teach them just how to be successful at church with like church attendance and giving and being involved in some of those things. So all of that is like say I have 3 weeks of zero preparation when I do that, and I take that time and I move that into what I call process development time, okay, where I can work on the things that I need to that are longer term. Like if I need to work on our church's website, if I need to work on our church's email strategy, if I need to work on some of the, we're doing like a big children's training thing coming up here in a few weeks, and we designed some new T-shirts, and we did some artwork, and we're just kind of going through like, what do we need to teach the people, in our training time. We've gone through all of that, and that is just really, really important stuff. And so to get away and take that study time and move it over to turn it into, that development time. So instead of working on the preaching, you're working on the process of your church, all the things when people come in, what do they see and who greets them, and, how do they develop and how do they move forward? All of that takes a lot of thought, and that is part of feeding the flock of God as well. And you got to make it accessible and how they know that. So what you need is to start to chop down a couple different things, and that will help you to get another 3 or 4 hours a week where you can focus on some of this training. It's saying no to certain things and actually changing your training. Now, you wouldn't do that every week. You wouldn't show a video every Sunday night for the rest of your life. Okay. We just do that kind of in spurts, or you can have a guest speaker, or you can bring in missionaries, for 4 weeks in a row or something along that line. And take that time, and don't let it get filled with something else. Take that time, lock yourself in a room, and work on the reaching young families aspect of your ministry. If we're going to reach young families, it takes a lot of hard work. I just guarantee you. And I have a lot of churches that are not reaching them right now, and a lot of it is because they are still doing hard work, but they're working in some areas where maybe they could farm that out a little bit or change a little structure and, like say, show an informational type video that would be inspiring to the people and be a help to them as well. So I'm going to come on here over the next few weeks and give you a couple other ways to work on saving the 4 hours a week, I call it, how pastors can gain that 4 hours during the week. And so I'm going to show up and do that. We're going to cover some stuff. I wrote them down over here on my board. One of the things is going to be talk about your values and making sure that you're not getting distracted into things. Oh, this is so easy. Where, Pastor, we need to do this, or Pastor, could you go do that for me? Or, and your core values are being, left behind, and your core values really need to be supported with your time, your study time and your office time and your development time. Those need to be there. So we're going to talk about that. And then the other one we're going to talk about is to crank up your kind of training time by using deadlines. And it's kind of a concept that I've been doing quite a bit over the last, probably 3 months. And I will share that detail with you as we move along. So anyway, great to have you here. Good night. There's a bunch of people have hopped on here, from all over. So thank you much for, being with us. And again, if you want to go learn about the digital assessment, you can get started on the thing for as little as like $59. Okay, there's a little 3 payment plan that helps us, but we spend time we don't come to your church, but we come to your church digitally. And take apart your website, take apart your Facebook, and you get into your strategy of email and really help you kind of hone in on your own digital assessment there. And we would love to help you with that. We're just finishing up a couple. We got a gap here for a few more in February that we can work on. And most of you know Tana, my assistant, who helps out here, and we're just anxious to go and help churches reach the young people of their community. It's just such a great job. So thanks for taking time to be with us here today. If you'd hit the share button, I appreciate it. If you go over to recoup.com, it is there where at the top banner it just says digital assessment. There's a little thing there, and you click on that. That'll give you some information on it. You sign up for that. All your information to come to us, and we'll be in contact with you here, very quickly within a day or two. We'll get your phone numbers and contact you. We'll get all your website information. We'll get your Facebook page. We'll have you probably send us some of your email samples that you send out, and we will really help you kind of sharpen up on your digital assessment or your digital outreach. And so much of a church's outreach now really is, just plain old digital kind of stuff. People will come visit your website before they come to your church. That's just absolute fact now. And Facebook is a great way to get out into the community. We'll teach you how to do that, and excited about it. So take a look there at reachkeep.com. And if you've never joined the Reaching Young Families page, you can go to that right here on Facebook by typing in Reaching Young Families in the search bar there, and hit the join button, and we will approve you and get you in and get you these videos and training like this. So if you're a YouTuber, head on over to YouTube and just type in Reach Keep, and you'll find a bunch of good training stuff there as well. So anyway, this is Mike. I hope you're having an awesome day, and I'm going to check out, and we will see you next week, where we're going to talk a little bit more about how to gain those 4 hours, how to get that stuff, get that time back, recoup that time so you can use it in really productive stuff. So God bless you. Take care.